Hey everyone, good morning. My name is Rich Mberiket. I am the founder of Mberiket Ventures. We are a multi-sector company with activities in food, manufacturing, infrastructure, and agriculture in Nigeria. I have a question that was asked. This was back in November of 2023. I'm going to go ahead and just answer that question on video because I feel that it might benefit not just the person asking the question, but for also others who could be interested in the subject matter. So the question reads as follows. Good morning, sir. I came across your blog post. I am in Nigeria and I have always been interested in export, but everything I hear about it makes it look impossible. Reading your post made me regain interest in export. Please, can you guide me on how to export food from Nigeria to the United States? I suppose I should start with nothing is impossible. The stories that you hear in Nigeria about everything from exporting, importing, just to look at, based on my activities in Nigeria and the frequency of my travels to Nigeria, I can tell you right now that a lot of those things are all amplified. Not saying they don't happen, but they are amplified. So you just got to take some of these information with a grain of salt. And the best way for you to actually gain experience in this is just to do it. You just have to do it. Now, as far as exporting, I'm assuming you are referencing or you are implying more of like micro exportation, meaning less than a container load. When you start doing containers, exporting in container loads, that's major export. Micro export to me is anything less than a container load, which is the area of business that we are currently in right now, because we just don't have the time and the capacity to be able to do a large scale container export or import. So the micro export I can speak on. Now, your question here is, interested in export, but everything I hear about it makes it look impossible. It is not impossible. All I can say is this. If you are, obviously, the weight system in Nigeria, the weight system that the freight forwarders use to measure is in kilograms. So the rule of thumb is this. Anything less than 100, maybe not 100, I would say anything up to, let's say, 75. I think 75 might be pushing it. So let's say anything up to 50 kg. Or 50 kg and under. You could even get away, you could even stretch it to, let's say just say up to 75 kg, just to simplify. Now, if you are shipping anything under 75 kg, the rule of thumb is to go with Express, DHL Express. Now, you're gonna need a local account, okay? You're in Nigeria, as you've said, you're just gonna have to go to DHL, I think it's in Victoria Island. They're gonna ask for your NEPC. Well, first of all, they're gonna ask for your CAC. That's your certificate of business, to make sure that your business is registered with the CAC. They're gonna ask for that information. They're also gonna need your NEPC form. It's an exportation form that you can get online by just searching NEPC in Nigeria. So they're gonna need this little basic forms from you that legitimizes you as a business and as an exporter. Now, DHL is going to take this information. and they'll open an account for you. Okay. They'll open an account for you and they will assign you an account manager that oversees your account. So it's just a matter of you, when you're ready to export whatever it is that you want to export. Now, keep in mind, not every food is admissible. So I learned this the hard way. So this is something that you are going to have to make sure, especially if you're exporting to the United States. I know one thing. Rice, local Nigerian rice in commercial quantities is not admissible into the United States. Now, if you're just sending it for personal consumption, that's a different story. But anything commercial for resale, it's not admissible. Catfish, dry catfish is not, well, dry catfish is admissible in the United States, but you just cannot sell it like on sites like Amazon. I've been there. It's not allowed. So then, again, once you have your account opened, DHL is going to assign you an account manager that's going to oversee your account. Again, this is for 75 kg and under. DHL is your best option because they're going to clear customs for you and they're going to deliver to your door in the United States. The drawback to that is DHL can be quite expensive. And the prices tend to fluctuate. Today you might get it for 4,500 naira per kg. Tomorrow it could be increased to 5,500 naira per kg. The next, it's kind of all over the map with DHL. You just never ever know what you're going to get. With that said, they're not really tailored for business, for exporters. They're tailored for just individuals who are just looking to send goods out of Nigeria or foods out of Nigeria for their personal consumption. That is the business that DHL is in. Now, anything over 75 kg, when you start looking at like 75 kg and up, like our exports, our minimum is 100 kg per airway bill. And we've gone as high as 500 kg. Just kind of depends on what we are exporting. Now, once you are over that 75 kg threshold, DHL is not necessarily your best option anymore because they're just too expensive. Now you want to go into Delta Cargo. They are cheaper, less expensive. Unlike DHL, Delta Cargo's transit time, DHL is about 3 to 5 days. From the moment that the goods leave Nigeria to your door, it's about 3 to 5 days, give or take, maybe even 7 days. To your door, they clear customs for you, they deliver it to your front door within 5 to 7 days. But it's a lot more expensive than Delta Cargo. Now, Delta Cargo now, for those who are exporting or shipping 75 kg and above, let's say 75 kg up to, I think you'd even go up to 1,000 kg. Delta Cargo is your best option. Now, the same thing sort of applies in the sense that you are going to need a Delta Cargo account in the United States, but not necessarily a Delta Cargo account in Nigeria, because now you are going to be going through a freight forwarding company or freight forwarding agent in Nigeria that's going to serve as the middle person. They're going to take your goods, they're going to process it, they're going to help you get your documentation, they're going to help you get those necessary documentation that's required for them, for your goods to move out of Nigeria into the United States. And their prices are a little bit better because now you're looking at about, let's say, anywhere between 2,500 naira to 3,000 naira per kg, as opposed to 45 to 5,500 through DHL. Now, with this option, because you're moving a larger quantity, Delta Cargo isn't going to provide the customs clearing services. This is something that you are going to have to do on your own once the goods arrive in the United States. In this case, because I've been doing this for so long, I handle my own customs clearing in America. If you want to go through a customs clearing agent in the United States, I've seen prices anywhere from $200 to $500 just for them to take on your shipment. Now, I was able to go around that by becoming my own customs clearing agent. I signed up with the Customs Border Patrol. So anytime that my goods come in, I handle my own customs clearing, and I'm able to save anywhere between $200 to $500 per shipment. So it may sound like it's a lot, but it really isn't. Now, here's another thing too. If this is something that you want to do consistently as a business, like we are doing, it's in your best interest to get yourself signed up with the Customs Border Patrol and get all the necessary documentation that you need, and also become your own clearing agent. And that this is something that I can expand on the side with you, because it's a little bit complicated, and I can guide you sort of like on a one-on-one basis if you're interested in that. But if you are, let's say, just once in a blue moon, let's say twice a year, every 6 months, you want to go out there and just buy Nigerian foods to bring out here, to send to your family members, just go with DHL at this point, because it's really for personal consumption. Just go with DHL. But if you want to make this a business, you're just going to have to go with Delta Cargo, because that's your best option. So per your question, I hope that this helps you regain a little bit of interest, kind of like understand how freight forwarding works in Nigeria, depending on your needs, depending on the frequency of your shipments, and also depending on the weight of your shipment. Again, the rule of thumb is this: up to 75 kg, go with DHL. They are faster. They handle customs clearing for you. They're delivered to your front door in the United States. But the disadvantage to that is they can be quite expensive depending on the time of year that you ship. Anything over 75 kg, you want to go with cargo. Now, cargo's transit time is anywhere between 7 to 10 days, 7 to 14 days, but never longer than 14 days. They're cheaper, but you're going to have to handle your own customs clearing in the United States. And this is more for those who are in the business of food exports. They export regularly. They have clients out here in the United States. Look, Delta Cargo is more for you. If you just want to do shipping for personal consumption, go with DHL. For commercial, you want to go with Delta Cargo, where there's going to be an agent out there in Nigeria. This is something that I can recommend an agent for you, if you need it. They'll handle everything, soup to nut service for you, get your goods out of Nigeria, send you your airway bill tracking number. But then again, remember, you have to really be mindful. Now, this is where it pays to have an agent working for you, because they are going to advise you on what foods are admissible and what foods are not admissible into the United States. As an example, rice is not admissible into the United States. Certain frozen foods, they're not admissible into the United States. Now, some people are going to try and cut corners. They might, advise you, let's go through Ghana. Ghana is not as strict or what have you, or let's change the content of the airway bill. Instead of fish, they'll put something else. Like, you don't want to go down that rabbit hole of dishonesty. Whatever it is that's on that airway bill, if there just happens to be an inspection, that is what customs is expecting to see in that package. So if you say dried, for instance, I'm going to use fish as an example. And you say dried catfish, if your goods happen to be inspected, that is what customs is expecting to see. Dried catfish, not dried tilapia, not dried shark, not dried salmon. You really have to be careful, and you really have to be 100% honest when it comes to what you put in your documentation. The weight has to be accurate. The dimensions have to be accurate. These are so important because you want to build a relationship with the United States Customs. So whenever they see your shipment, they know, okay, this is a trustworthy person. They're more likely to kind of wave you on and give you that benefit of a swift clearing. But the moment that you start being dishonest, and all it takes is just one time, it's virtually impossible to recover from that. So business is all about honesty and not about cutting corners. Same thing goes with if you're shipping for personal consumption. You have to be honest in the information that you put in an official documentation. Does that make sense? So again, it's not impossible. It's actually fun, very rewarding. But you just really have to do your homework. Before you go out there sourcing for foods to export, make sure that whatever it is that you're sending into the United States is admissible into the country. Not only is it admissible into the country, but you also have to make sure that it's exportable in the country that you're shipping from. For instance, like Nigeria, you got to make sure that the foods that you're sending out, they're not prohibited, they're not banned. Business is just all about honesty. So I really hope this helps a bit. If there's anything that I'm missing or that I failed to mention in this, feel free to reach out to me. And again, if you really want to go deeper into exporting foods out of Nigeria, I can guide you in that, and I can assist you in that just based on my own personal experience. That would be something entirely different. It's more of a one-on-one thing because that way I can hold your hand, I can listen to you, I can answer your questions more directly and more tailored to your needs. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. And thank you for watching. If this is beneficial, you find this informative, feel free to like, comment, and share the content. All right.